All right, LDBC. This is your boy Coach Shelton Harrison with Amazing Eric Sports. And guys, we have a special guest. We have the War Machine, Brittany Nieman, live on the Coach Shelton Harrison Eric Amazing Sports show live. Brittany, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good in this cold weather in Minnesota.
Oh,
Well, lucky you, because I don't have to look at that snow.
Yeah, it's not as bad as it can get, so I'm not gonna complain.
Okay, okay. And we got a viewer in the house. And guys, when you guys come in, smash the like button because when you smash the like button, you're helping Brittany promote this whole hangout, and it'll reach more people when you hit the like button. So be a lover, not a hater.
that's and as they come in, like you said, they hit the like button. Brittany, we are sorry about the weather you have up there. This is just a quick question. This is kind of one something we're going to talk about. You when you train in the cold weather time, I've always known for myself, and you being a professional athlete, this is two different. Totally, I'm not on that level, but when it's colder, sometimes it's hard to get out and get motivated. Is it just something you're used to now when the weather's real cold as it relates to your training and your grind?
Yeah, I think being born and raised here, it's
Hmm.
kind of not a big deal. I
Hmm.
think the only thing that makes you not want to go is driving in it. Not
Oh
really,
yeah.
being afraid to go out because literally you can run from your car inside, so you don't have to deal with the cold as much. But it's more having to drive in the snow that kind of makes you
Mm.
be like, yeah, do I really want to go and deal with the
Yeah,
traffic right now?
that's
But
true.
it's always worth it.
And so do you end up having to commute a long way to train, or are you able to train pretty close to where you live?
So I live in Eagan, Minnesota, and I train in Woodbury, Minnesota. So it's
Hmm.
about, without the icky snow and traffic, it's probably about 30 minutes.
Okay.
And then I lift weights at the LA Fitness in Edina, and
Mm.
that's probably about 15 minutes. So
Okay.
it's not terrible.
I got it. I got it. Okay. Well, Coach, I know you had a lot of things you said you wanted to ask, you wanted to talk about. I'm very interested to hear some of these great questions we have for Brittany. I'll let you go ahead and jump on there first, Coach.
Okay, good, good, good. Thanks for letting me jump on first for a chance. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so Brittany, we talked in depth about your last fight. I hear that echo again. God dog.
Yeah.
Eric, is that you again?
That's not me. I don't know if Brittany, if we can get you to hit your screen, or do you have it open in two windows, maybe, Brittany?
No, I don't have two windows, just
Okay.
one.
It's probably okay. It's probably me. I'm gonna step back from the microphone. Probably me. Okay. Yeah, we talked, in depth last time about, how you got started and, what precipitated you fighting. So now, since your last fight, yeah, we're talking about your last MMA fight against Jessica Bolton.
Mhm.
Um, what have you and your team, or what have you and your coaches been, trying to prepare you? Like, what have you guys been working on now?
Mainly tightening up my striking. Um, because in my first fight I got a little wild, and also I was headhunting a little too much. So working on looking at all openings, seeing all her whole body and not just her head, and also staying controlled with what I'm doing and not just kind of wailing them out and hoping that they land.
Okay. So wait a minute. So that wait a minute. That's what you was doing because I couldn't tell because they were landing. I mean,
For me, and if you look closely, yeah, they kind of were kind of coming wild. They weren't tight. I was leaving myself open at the same time. My hands weren't coming straight back to my face. I'm
Mhm.
also a perfectionist, so even when I go back and watch that, there's several parts of it where I'm like, that wasn't good. I should have did this, and why did I do this? And so
Mhm.
yeah, I comb through it pretty deeply.
okay, okay. Go ahead, Eric.
Well, I think what I was noticing as you said that I like to hear this in fighters a lot, to where there is a good performance, and during your good performance, you're also focusing on things you could still improve upon, things that could be better. So it's great to hear, like, Coach said that he couldn't tell because all of your punches were landing, but you still realized that you were head hunting, that you needed to
Yeah.
mix up your attack, you needed to do different things. I think for people listening to this, it is, and I say this so many times, it's always good to get a perception from the fighter. What is the draw to head hunting? I know this is an interesting question. what is the draw for a fighter to headhunt? You hear fighters so many times say, I'm headhunting, headhunting. Is it just because you want to land that headshot? What makes fighters have to fight that tendency to headhunt?
I think, I guess I can't speak for everybody, but in my head, I think they're looking for the knockout. And obviously, you want to hit right on the spot. And I think it's kind of that target that you focus on a lot because you guys are looking at each other, so it's like I'm just looking at that one spot on you and that's your head. But I'm learning even when I get, hit in practice that I feel like I get hurt more when I get hit in the body. That's what I'm learning. I can take a headshot. I can take, a kick to the face. For the most part, I can take, a pretty good hook. But I'm noticing if I get hit in the body, that I might not go down right away, but it wins me for the rest of my practice rounds. So I'm actually starting to become more of a body hunter, if you really want to know. I would love to get a Holly Holm head kick knockout in my career at some point, but I'm definitely I'm definitely starting to be like the body really wears you out. Even if the person doesn't go down right away, it wears them out.
And that's a really good thing. And coach, I know you preach that a lot in your whole thing when you talk about fighters and your breakdowns, and people don't understand how key body work is. And if you listen, coach, what Brittany said there is what made her really know that body work is vital, is the body work, the punishment she took to the body. So it's no better teacher than experience. So, since you go through it yourself, you're able to know that. Go ahead, coach.
So Brittany, when you in sparring, and I got to ask you this: are you sitting there? Are you actually taking it easy on your sparring partners? Are you beating up your sparring partners and making your sparring partners, maybe dislike some of the sparring sessions because you're hurting them? I got to know that because you don't seem like a person that's going to take it easy.
Honestly, I go off the person I'm going with. I let them kind of strike first, and if I feel like, okay, you want to hit hard, we can hit hard. If I feel like, they're newer, because we have different levels of people, and I don't want to be that person that, just beats up on the newer level people. That's not right. I was new at some point, so I'm not like that. So I usually go off of that person, or for instance, like my teammates, if they're going to be fighting, we'll verbalize to each other like, hey, this round, can we go hard? Like when I was training with my my last teammate, Bonnie, I told you about her last time. We were going hard. I mean, I have videos where you can see we were trying to hurt each other. Not, and mentally we weren't, but the punches and kicks were landing hard. But we knew that. We verbalized that, So it just depends on who I go with. But I do like to go pretty hard.
Brittany, the Lord says not to tell stories because I seen you in some videos and it looked like one of these girls didn't know a lot of grappling and you was taking her down and she outweighed you by a lot and you was slamming her pretty hard. Come on, Brittany, you got to explain this one.
Come on now.
There's a difference when it's a tournament.
Okay.
If it's a tournament, you signed up for it, right? We both signed up for it, so you got to know what's coming. Like,
that's right.
I try to get you, Brittany. God dog it, Brittany. Too smart.
She got out of it.
Smart for that.
She got out of it.
She got out of there.
She got right out of it. Now, Brittany, from the sound of this, you said you like to go hard. So if you are coming into training and you come in, and let's say it's even somebody new, because a lot of times when you go into these fight gyms, we have a newer person there. Let's say somebody new walks up to the War Machine and they say, well, I'm just going to tell you, Brittany, I like to go hard. Let's go hard. Or you're just going to say, okay, if you want to go hard and just go ahead and get it on. Or would you be like, well, maybe you don't want this because they really don't want it. They just don't know they don't want it yet. So how would you handle that?
Like I was telling Coach, I see myself small in my own sight. So I don't see myself as this big, huge, big tough war machine. So I would still be like, okay, if you want to go hard, let's go hard. And I would go off of them. And more than likely, if I land a nice shot, I'm gonna ask them, is that too hard?
Oh, okay. That's nice.
So common courtesy in the gym after you take them, you catch them with a great shot. Hey, was that too hard? Yeah, I lost 3 teeth, but I'm good. We good today. We good.
Hold my molars for me, please. Somebody hold my. They just all fell out. My wisdom just fell out. But yeah, I'm good. Let's keep training. So Brittany, I meant to ask you something. Sorry, we got a little ahead of ourselves. I really like to ask this. I know you've already discussed this, but for the new fans coming in, How did you get your start in fighting? What attracted you to the fight game? When did you start fighting? Were you a fighter growing up?
So my dad is a black belt in Taekwondo.
Oh, okay.
And so I went to all of his practices. I watched all his matches. He's even in a few of the karate books. I'd have to get the name as like the top 10 in his age bracket when he was fighting.
Wow.
And so that's where I got kind of my aggressive tendencies. And so he actually started me in Kimpo when I was probably about like 5 or 6. I didn't really go far with that because I was kind of shy. I didn't like being in the group setting, but I always wanted to box after that. And I never really got to entertain that thirst. And then MMA came out. And so I was like, ooh, I like the mixture of all of these things.
Yeah.
And my husband and I, he did MMA before we met, but we wanted to, to find some gym to go start training at. And so we found Next Level, and that was probably about 3 or 4 years ago. So that's when I actually started training to actually do MMA. But it's always been a want for me to do some type of fighting combat sport.
Nice. Now, when you said that your dad, all his accomplishments and all his top levels, I actually thought about it. I was like, man, I hope her husband was on point, because maybe dad would want to go a few rounds with the future son-in-law to make sure he was ready. So,
they've never sparred, but
okay.
Yeah, my dad's always, made sure he knows, that's my baby girl,
That's right.
So.
That's right. I'm sure Pops gave him that look a few times, like, hey, don't get it twisted. Go look at the books. Go look at the books. Look me up.
He did.
You heard?
He did, but my husband always, presented himself, humble and very loyal. So my dad never really had to go further than much,
That's
so.
good. That's good. Yeah, I was able to stop right there.
Yeah.
Man, that's what I'm talking about. That's great. So now, so when you're fighting, when you're in the heat of the battle, what are you doing? Like, are you listening to your corner? Do you hear them when you're in the heat of the battle, or are you kind of going in and what you already need to do, and then because you have some fighters that they can hear their corner, they listen, and some fighters while they're fighting, they pretty much know,
Right.
and so they just go in and take care of business. What kind of fighter are you?
So I'll say I've had 2 different experiences of how I handle listening to my corner. So for my first ever, striking, which was the kickboxing, which I told you I can't stand watching that because it was terrible.
No, it wouldn't.
We started really close, which I was not prepared for that. I thought, you start in your corner, I start in mine, and whoever meets who in the middle, it goes from there. For this kickboxing match, you start face to face. So right away, which I'm gonna make a note of this too, I learned that you can watch videos of somebody, but you don't know until you get in there how they really are. So I kind of slightly underestimated my opponent. She looked not as aggressive in her videos as she was when we were in the ring. So when we started that close, she came at me pretty hard, and right away I'm like, oh no, you got to back up. Like, I'm gonna be the dominant one of this fight. So
I like it.
So I came out very feisty and was getting, trying to back her off of me, but my corner was yelling, "Slow down, Brittany, slow down." And I heard them, but my body was like, "No,
Okay.
You're not in here right now. I'm not gonna slow down." Like I heard him, but I wasn't listening. So, and I should have, because I almost passed out between round 2 and round 3.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they were gonna call it, and I literally like passed out. I heard them say we're gonna have to call it, and I was like, no, don't call it, because I was like, you know what? She's gonna have to beat me because I'm exhausted. They're not gonna just end it because I couldn't come out. So, but I ended up winning. But my second fight, I heard them and I did listen. Like when they were telling me she's getting tired, I tried to stay on her, even though I was kind of getting tired. Or, they were telling, mount her or whatever. I was actually listening that time. In jiu-jitsu, I feel like it's a little easier to listen to them. I wouldn't say that it's calmer, but you have more moments to actually take in what they're saying. You can kind of stall a little bit more. So I think there's like, I have 3 different experiences with that.
Well, I think as fighters grow and they I'm sorry, the microphone was doing anything. I think as fighters grow and you continue to, learn and evolve, these are the experiences that make you grow as a fighter. You hear your coach saying slow down, like you said, you hear it, but then you decide not to do it. But then you see now in the future why you should listen the next time.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So as you do this, Brittany, I have a quick question for Brittany right here. Now, as you grow, I know you mentioned all these different disciplines. You're so well versed, and you mentioned you were really excited about the MMA style of fighting. What attracts you to most out of all the disciplines? What was so exciting to you about the MMA?
Because it allowed you to do whatever. It wasn't strictly just striking. It wasn't strictly just wrestling. You can do whatever you want to. And I like that. You literally can be a mixed martial artist. And I like that. I actually didn't know I was going to like jiu-jitsu as much as I did because I've always been in the striking. And I never really did any grappling until I went to the next level where I'm at. And did jiu-jitsu. And I love it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't expecting that.
Okay. So the jiu-jitsu it's actually easier for you. That's what you're saying?
Not easier. I think what I like about it is you can pretty much go almost 100% in jiu-jitsu and not have to worry about hurting your opponent as much as if you were in striking, if that makes sense. And I like that aggressive, like, go for it.
Yeah.
Where we're in striking, like, you depend on who you go with, and obviously you don't want to be getting popped in the head as hard as you can every practice, but you can go harder in jiu-jitsu. So I think that's what I like about that. But I have a love for both striking and the jiu-jitsu.
Okay. So Brittany, well, now we don't want you, telling all your opponents, your future opponents, your weaknesses. So I'm not going to ask you that. But tell me, what are your strengths?
My movement, for sure. And I'm going off what a lot of people tell me, because if you ask what I think of myself, I'm like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. I would say almost everything is my weakness, because I don't feel that I'm as good as I want to be. So if you would ask me that, I would pretty much say everything. But going off what a lot of people tell me is I'm quick. And I noticed that too, that I am quick on my feet. I'm able to move around a lot. I would also say my aggression. I'm able to take punches, but I'm still staying there to give them.
And guys, go ahead.
So yeah, I don't know, without giving away a lot, I would say that would be my strength.
Don't give away too much. Don't give away too much. Give away just enough, but don't give away too much. We don't want people trying to scout you through this interview, Brittany. That's not. You guys gonna have to find out for yourself in the octagon. Ain't that right, Coach?
They're gonna be scouting her. Definitely. She win again. They're gonna be scouting her because, and I just came across one of your fights, and I'm like, I would really love to interview her because she seems like she got this really, you can see the passion that you do when you're in the octagon. I can see it. And I was saying, man, I gotta figure out where she is so I can interview this person. And, thankfully you're a humble type. You're like, yeah, man, I interview with you. Let's go, So it was incredible. But, so you're going to fight at LFA. So what do you hope to gain? Let's say you go in and you win this fight. How many more fights do you plan on, staying at the amateur level?
Honestly, I would like to get at least 5 to 8 fights as amateur. I really want to get the experience before I just, jump into pro. So I would say more than 5 fights.
Okay. Well, that's gonna be 5. That's gonna be 5 people getting their butt whooped. So Brittany, it is. It's gonna be 5 people getting their butt whooped. And on top of that, you're gonna gain valuable experience. And guys, I want y'all to understand what she just said. She wants to, gain the experience. And I don't know if you're familiar, and I really enjoy this fighter. I watched Heather Hardy. She fought her second MMA fight,
Mm,
and when I watched the fight, I realized it wasn't because Heather didn't have the skill sets to win. She's got the physical tools to win the fight, but it's just she didn't have the experience.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
And and she got defeated, dominated in her last fight. So whoever's looking out for you, they're doing a great job because you're saying the right things. You actually want to grow, and
right.
then when you turn pro, it's going to be the right time, and then they're not going to match you up with somebody who's leagues above you in skill set.
Yeah.
I mean,
That and
so
I want to get the like nerves out because I'm always so nervous. So if I
Mm.
can, kind of get past that a little bit, it would help a lot.
Brittany, you said something right there, and I'm very glad you said that because this is a walk. I said it so many times, I'm going to say it again right here on this podcast. We talk it, you guys walk it. It's always
Mm,
easier for us to come make our commentary videos. It is so much easier to sit in the stands and talk about the people playing on the field. That's just life. But when you're
yeah.
actually there in the moment, you talk about your nerves. Is this
Yeah.
something that is evolving in you? Do you feel it getting better now? What I was going to ask you is, do your nerves hit like right when you're walking out? Are you already nervous in the back? And how do you get them under control? Does the fight have to kind of get started and then you get them under control?
So, like for my MMA fight, I didn't have any nerves until the day our weigh-ins. Like I didn't feel anything, which was weird because for my kickboxing match, I kind of was feeling that on and off for during the time I was preparing. So
Mm-hmm.
when I got the MMA match, I was like, "Oh, I don't feel nervous. This is great." And then
Okay.
the day of our weigh-ins, I was like, "What is going on? Where is this coming from?"
Yeah.
And so when we were in the back, I would feel my nerves go from I'm okay to oh my goodness, I'm really doing this to I'm okay, oh my goodness, I'm really doing this.
Uh-huh.
And then when they called me, they kind of calmed down. And as I walked out, I was okay. But once I got in the ring and I came after, I think it was like the fourth fight,
Mm-hmm.
there was dry blood on the ground. And
Oh.
I've watched MMA fights from, TV. I haven't really been in the ring. So when I got in there, I was like, oh, this is real. This is like Gladiator, you know? And so when Jessica came in and she was across from me, I'm not even gonna lie. When I saw her and like we're both looking at each other, I was like, I'm never doing this again, just because of my nerves. I'm like, I can't even deal with my nerves.
Mm-hmm.
But once we came at each other, all that went away.
Wow.
I didn't feel, you don't feel anything. You're in there with her. I didn't hear the crowd. I wasn't worried about anybody but me and her. So I think it's once that bell rings and she's coming at me, you don't have time to be nervous. It's like, oh, we're in here. We're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
you
So,
beat that kid up. I mean, you beat that kid up pretty bad. I mean, for somebody who's not nervous, what? I hate to see when you're not nervous. I mean, what do you think is going to happen to the opponent then? Because
uh,
you got some serious, like you know what, the word that come to mind, you're a stubborn fighter. Like you refuse to let somebody get the upper hand on you. You just refuse to.
yeah,
Like you're not going out like that. Like you're like Wilfley, and it's a great stubborn. This is not a put down. This is a pot. You are stubborn. You're not going out of there.
yeah.
Like that's what I get from you. And you got a new fan, Brittany. Keith Brown in the super chat. The super chat.
Super
Brittany,
chat.
brand new fan. And I know for a fact Keith Brown is gonna go follow you. Hey, Brittany, look at that already. You're affecting the masses. You just don't know it yet.
That's
I
right.
keep.
And
She
and
said, "Hey to you personally, Keith Brown."
and you know what, Brittany? And you know what, Brittany? Keith is also an amateur. He's a boxer. He's an up and coming boxer. He's got a fight coming up soon. So best of luck to
Okay,
you. Keith. Handle your business, bro.
good luck.
That's right.
And he said, "Brittany, you got this."
That's
He
right.
said, "You got this."
Thank you, thank you. I should say God bless.
Now,
I don't believe in luck.
There you
So,
go. There you go. Now, Coach, I was going to ask you to do this because a lot of times you give really good pointers on things. Now, not just Brittany, but in general, Coach, put your coaching hat on. When you see a talented fighter like Brittany who has all the talent and they're over there and they're coming up and they're overcoming their nerves, if you put your coaching hat on, what is some motivational thing that you would say? What can help fighters overcome those nerves, Coach?
the first thing I would say if I'm talking to Brittany,
Mm-hmm.
and I know what she believes, you
Mm-hmm.
know, God didn't create you to go in there and to actually do second hand work. He created you to be the best. He
That's
created you to
right.
be the best on top of everything. So if he made you out of his image, then that means he put you in there to go dominate. So you get in there, you go dominate, you do what you got to do. I ain't got to sit back and coach you no more. We done the hard work. Now it's time for you to shine, okay? It's time for you to
Yeah.
shine. Now go out there and represent the Lord and knock this girl out.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Is the fight
That's what I would
tonight?
say.
Is the
That's what
fight
I would say.
tonight? That's what I want to know.
I would say, give me somebody who'll work, sweat, bleed, and I'll find you a champion. And Brittany, I got me a champion in this corner right now, girl. You go do it. You take it. You take it. You take everything. Everything we
Woo!
work for, you take it. You bleed. You sweat. But when you come back over, and when them judges, matter of fact, don't even let it go to the judges. We ain't
Yeah.
raising no hands, okay?
Yeah.
The judges, but you're gonna pray for them when they done. But the judges, they can't have a word in this. You got to say so because God put the power in you.
That's
That's what I would
right.
tell
I'm
you.
gonna have to call you before my next fight, just so you can say that.
There you go,
Okay,
Brittany.
okay, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah.
I will say it to. I'll say it to you. Hey, I sure will. I absolutely will.
That's why I
That,
picked the scripture I got, so I can kind of, repeat it to myself as I'm going out there too, to calm me.
Mm-hmm.
now, could you tell everybody that scripture? It's. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So it's Psalms 56:11. I put my trust in God. I will not fear. What can man do to me?
Nice, nice. And see, that gets you locked in, and that gets you where you need to be. And I think so much of different people have different ways of controlling their nerves, right?
Mhm.
It depends on who you are. If you're a person of faith like you are, if you're a person of faith, you lean on that to control your nerves, and that's what you should do.
Yeah.
And the good thing is that you find that place of strength, and then you just go and perform because to where the talent is not there. Absolutely not. It's just you do that, and the more you go, and that's why I think another thing you're saying smart. The more of these amateur fights, the ones you keep going through, these are going to
Yeah.
prepare you. Then when you're ready to go pro, you're going to have this nerve thing even more under control, and then boom, the sky's the limit from there.
Right.
So yeah, so I think it's all around. I had to get Coach to give you one of his motivational speeches. Coach is a walking motivational speech. I can just call Coach. Hey, Coach, give me a motivational speech, man. I'm getting ready to go and put some gas in the car, but it's cold. I don't want to do it. Eric, you get out there right now. You get in that car, Eric, and you turn that engine over there, and you head to that store, and you put that gas in the car right now. Coach is the best at that. He's a walking motivational speech. So I knew he was going to give you a good one.
Well, I mean, I understand because I've been there. I've been there definitely when you're trying to look up and you ain't got nothing to look up to. I've been there. I've been there. I've been there when I'm looking up at the ceiling. I'm in a bed, hospital. Oh God, if I get out of here, I will go do good for the community. I promise. Got up out of there, and guess what? You know what? We ain't gonna let it down. So, Brittany, I know that you and we serve the exact same God. I think you serve him a little bit better than I do, but I think
No, no.
you serve the same.
I have my flaws too. I'm just working. I'm just trying my
But
best.
but I know he ain't no respecter person. I know that. I know that
Right.
for a fact. So
Yeah.
you know what? Everything you already got it in you. That I believe it, and because that's why I was just so intrigued by one. I just I actually thought that I thought you had more experience. Watching an MMA fight. I mean, that's what I was under the impression.
Wow.
And so I was like, I really want to interview this person, but I don't know if she would interview with me. Because because I'm thinking maybe she get random people always asking for interviews,
Nope.
and I'm just like. Well, I can see talent from a mile away. So, yeah, right now, but maybe in 2 years, I think people are going to be beating the door down to try to interview you because if they saw what I saw, the passion at which you fight, but it's like you going in there and you're fighting, but it's like you're taking your children in there, you're taking your husband in there, and it's like you guys are like a one big unit
That's
that
right.
you guys all support each other, and I see why you're so successful because you got the proper balance. You got your family, your husband, your children, and then you balance it out with doing MMA. So
Mhm.
it's in 2 years, I predict that you'll probably be going professional in 2 years, and we'll be having this conversation again. And hey, Brittany, gee, so how you think this title fight finna go down?
That's right. That's
I'm
exactly right.
speaking. I'm speaking it right now.
Put it
Talk
out
to
there. Put it
talk.
out
I'm
there.
gonna claim it.
Okay,
I'm
I'm
gonna claim it.
That's right.
yeah.
Receive it. Receive it. Now,
Yes,
Brittany,
I'm receiving it.
there you go. She said, yes, I'm receiving it. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, Brittany, let me ask you this really quick because Coach just touched on some things that I think are key. Each fighter has a different type of thing that they fight for, that they remember. or do you feel like you take that strength from your faith in God to your family, to your children, your husband? Do you take all that into the ring with you? Is that something that motivates you, your matches?
Yeah, I do. Especially with my faith, you know, me being able to win, even if I lose, to be able to handle myself differently than the way someone who doesn't have God, if that
Mm-hmm.
can make somebody in the audience or a fan or somebody who doesn't believe or even someone who does believe want to seek God more, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
specifically speaking Jesus Christ, um, if I can, just me being in the ring can do that to somebody, that's more important to me than winning or being even known for my fighting. My biggest goal down here is to bring as many souls to Christ as I can, and if in everything I do, I want to represent Him, even when I'm fighting. And that sounds funny, but there's different ways that you can represent Him in there, not necessarily the striking and everything, but how you handle yourself if you lose, how you handle yourself if you win. You know, I could get all mad if I lose and be nasty, you know, or I can
Mm-hmm.
still give that my opponent a hug and say, "Great job, you did a great job."
Mm-hmm.
If I win, I can run around the ring and, talk smack and cuss in my interviews. But if I'm as, just as humble as if I lost, that might make somebody question, what is it about this girl? Why doesn't she get cocky when she wins? Or why doesn't she get an attitude and act crazy when she loses? It's because it's God. If I can use that, for sure. And of course I wear my family on my shoulders because I'm representing them. I got to go
Mm-hmm.
back to them, and they hurt if I lose the way I hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to go back, and I cry when I lose. I'm not even gonna lie. It's just because I'm that, passionate about it. I
Mm-hmm.
really, really want to win, and represent them right. And even my dad, living up to all the accomplishments he's done, I don't want them to see me lose.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely wear all that when I go in there.
And it's that, that's a beautiful thing. I think that, like I said, so many times in life, you have people, you see people who draw inspiration and the reasons they fight for. That's what makes the fight game so beautiful to me. But you have so many people of so many different backgrounds, whether it be racial, religious, whatever the situation, you have all these people, but everybody has their thing that drives them. And it's beautiful to see people connect with that thing and connect with it, your faith, your family. It's beautiful to see people connect with that and actually use that to inspire them, and then also try to do stuff that is bigger than just the fight game.
Yeah.
So as you look at your MMA career, and coach, I think you might be getting a little close to that microphone again, my brother.
So it's my fault again.
He, well, he's just so excited, Brittany. He's just so excited about it. He just keeps getting close to the microphone because he's so excited. That's what it is. He's just so pumped up about this interview. But we were gonna
See,
ask you.
I don't think it's me because I'm muting my microphone. Muted. I
Yeah, I
don't
got mine
know.
muted too. That's okay. We'll figure it out. We'll make it happen. But no, Brittany, as you move into into the MMA fight game, and like you said, if you cry after you lose, what do you do? What is your bounce back like? But also, I'm sure you're the type of fighter, and I can tell that if you do lose, if you do take a loss, that you go in with your coaches and you try to. Do you just try to learn? Do you not want to watch the footage at all? Do you want to watch it so you can come back and learn from it? How do you handle that?
So the only thing I've lost was like my jujitsu matches because I've only had my kickboxing and this one MMA fight. So I can only
Yeah.
speak to the jujitsu. I definitely
Okay.
go back and look. What was this?
Hmm.
What did I do wrong here? Why, was I not thinking? How was I even feeling when I
Hmm.
did that? So maybe, I don't feel that way next next time.
Yeah.
It's different. Everything I can think of and comb through, I definitely do.
Nice. That'll be real good. And coach, as you look at oh no, Brittany, what is your preferred weight class? What weight class, as you look into the MMA, would you like to say this is the weight class I want to settle and fight in?
So I moved down to 105 because when I fought against Jesse, um, I was fighting at 115, but I actually came in at 110.
Mm-hmm.
And she even came in at 111. So after talking with Bonnie, she's my she kind of coaches me,
Mm-hmm.
and not kind of, she does coach me, and
Mm-hmm.
she trains with me. We train with each other.
Mm-hmm.
But she was like, I would move down to 105 because most of the people that you're going to be fighting are walking around way heavier than 115. They're not going to come in like Jesse did. That just kind of happened. So I was like, yeah, I'll try moving down to 105. So, because I walk around like around 110. So, it's kind of hard for me to put on weight unless I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
Even then, it's like just water weight and baby weight. But I work out a lot. It's just, I'll get more muscle mass, but I don't really put on a lot of weight. Like I don't get heavy. So
Well, the beauty of these chats and letting you come out in front of the fans. I just want to read you something, Brittany, because Mike James Boxing just dropped this comment, and I want to make sure you hear this. He says she just got a new supporter. Seen her highlights against Jessica Bolton. Has a ton of heart and has a down to earth personality with positive energy. We'll be checking out your future fights. So that's what this is all about, Brittany. You just got a new fan right there, Mike James Boxing. Shout out to you, bro.
Thank you.
What this is all about. And Mike, we agree. Coach, wouldn't you agree with everything Mike just said right there?
Yeah, I agree with everything she say. No, Mike, I'm sorry. I meant I agree with everything she say. Yeah, she does have a lot of heart, and she just refuses to go down. So that's the good thing. And it's kind of weird because you implemented your game plan against a heavier woman when you fought Jessica. And I could just sit and just look at that fight, and I just pinpointed so many things in that fight that you did well. And I'm like, man, if Brittany ever, man, she threw an uppercut, oh man, they're gonna walk right into it because everybody seem to think that when they look at you physically, they think that you're this pushover. But then, when you're actually dominating them physically, they're like, whoa, wait a minute, she's stronger than I thought, you know. And that was the look on your opponent's face, because she tried to come in and really try to body you up, but you wasn't having it.
Yeah.
And at first I'm like, she finna throw an uppercut. Oh man, this is gonna work. But then you took a whole nother route and you enforced your will. If I want to say that, you imposed your will. You're the smaller woman and you impose your will. It's kind of like, okay, well, she's pushing this woman around. I can't wait to see what you're gonna do at atom weight. Like I can't wait to what you're gonna do to those girls at atom weight, because if you're doing that to straw weights, like who can naturally be a straw weight, man, what in the world are you gonna do at atom weight?
That's funny you say that, because like my mom was like, it was very apparent that you were stronger than her through that entire fight. And in my head, you can even ask my corners, after that first round, I thought I was losing. I was that because she took me down that one time, even though I reversed it. It was just those little things that I was mad at myself. Like I let her take me down. I let her push me into the cage. So right away, I felt not defeated in a way that I couldn't win, but that I was losing. And my corners are looking at me like, "Are you crazy?" So
she took you down, but Brittany, when you get takedowns, they have to do something behind the takedowns.
Right.
And you reversed it, and you immediately started ground and pound.
Yeah.
See, she didn't do that. She just took you down, and so you guys were jockeying for position, and you ended up reversing it. So
yeah, I really didn't give her time to do much.
You sure did.
Because in my head, when I landed, I was like, "Oh no, 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 no! Like, I'm not staying down here. We gotta do this." And I roll with a lot of people that outweigh me. I think I'm the smallest actually at my jiu-jitsu when I train in jiu-jitsu. So I'm always rolling with people who are heavier than me. So I think like when I went out there with Jessie, she felt so much lighter, even though she was heavier than me. She was so much lighter than the people that I already have to work with. So as much as it kind of sucks sometimes when I'm in practice, it actually pays off.
That's right.
That poor girl who was heavier than you, the one that I keep seeing in your training video, that you're just, beating her, you're taking her down pretty aggressively. I mean, Brittany, how you gonna explain yourself on this one? I mean, she's helpless. She's pretty much defenseless, and you're just going in there and just taking her down so easily.
Jessie was a sweet girl, though. She was. So, and she was a good opponent, my first opponent. So I'm not going to diss her. But
that's right.
Yeah, she's an incredible opponent and gave you a lot of valuable experience. I mean, a lot of valuable experience. So let's look at this. Let's think. Okay, so now after this next fight, and you said the fight is March the 2nd.
They're looking for an opponent for me right now. But yes, that's if they find me someone, that's when I will be fighting.
Okay, well, we're just gonna speak that into existence.
Yeah,
it's happening. It's happening. So it's happening.
After this is done, and after you complete this quest, this task, okay, in 2 years, where exactly do you see yourself atop the LFA ladder? You see yourself in Invicta, or do you actually see yourself moving up to the UFC? Because I predict in a couple of years they're gonna get an atom weight division.
Right.
They're gonna have to because the way the product is growing, they're
Right.
gonna have.
I would say in 2 years, I would say probably the top of LFA looking to be going to Invicta or UFC.
I hear you.
Okay. That's
Because
gonna.
I'm also balancing school to be a chaplain. So, but
Doing it all.
yeah, so I would definitely say 2 to 3 years at the top of LFA looking to go to Invicta or UFC. I'm gonna say UFC because Dana's gonna add atom weight.
There you go. That's right.
Shoot.
Say it out there. Put it out there. Put it
You
out
might get Dana White in your church service.
Yes.
Shoot, you be a chaplain. We get Dana in there. You know? I mean, we could. We get him in there. You know.
That'd be good. Hey, come
That'd
on.
be great, right? That'd be really good. Now, Brittany,
Yes.
Suthan, the first question I want to ask you is where did the War Machine come from? How did you get the name, the War Machine?
Oh, okay. So, I had been trying to think of a good nickname, and I kind of didn't want to name myself.
Okay.
No one's really called me anything. Like I had Roadrunner when I was in high school for track. My dad nicknamed me that.
Okay.
So I'm like, that's not really a fight name,
Mm-hmm.
And so one of my dad's best friends, who he's trained with for years, I call him my uncle because he's pretty much my uncle. Aaron.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We were discussing before my MMA fight. We were going over my kickboxing match, and he sounded just like Coach, saying, "You did great. What are you talking about?" I'm like, "No, I did not." And so he just kind of was giving me a speech and was just telling me, you got to train your body to be a war machine. And as soon as he said that, I was like, "Oh, that's my name right there, right there."
Okay. All right.
Because that's what I want to be when I go in that ring. I want my body to absorb shots, and even if I get hurt, to fight like I'm at war, to be at war, and my body to fully act as a war machine. And so I was like, "That's it, the war machine. I'm taking it." So
that was it. It was meant to be.
Yep.
It was meant to be, and I like that the warrior mentality of that. Of like you said, you just want your body to be a war machine. So every woman stepping in with you should know that. This is kind of now, as you look at the ladies in MMA, whether it be Invicta, whether it be whatever level, whether it be UFC, who are some of your fighters that you look at that are like, I like the way she fights? Who are you a fan of, if you will? Who do you look up to?
Well, Coach already knows this, and I've already mentioned her, Holly Holm.
All right. Okay.
Because I look at more than just how they fight. I look at how they act in their interviews and how they act outside of the ring. And I know, like, her nickname, Preacher's Daughter, I know she's a Christian, so that's right away, ding, ding, ding for me. And she's so humble. Even, when she wins, when she loses, she's always so humble. But her style, the Taekwondo, I love their kicks. And so that right away sticks out for me. I like Angela Hill. I'm not sure what's been happening with her last few fights, but when she first came out, I loved her determination and her aggression. I do like I like Tisha Torres too. She's a little Mighty Mouse to me, She's little, but she goes out there with so much strength, and I love that. Joanna, she's dangerous. And I did want Rose to win, but that's because of, again, outside of the ring, in her interview, she's so cocky, so that's where I lose, I lose the want for them to win, but her skill set, I will not take away from her. She's dangerous. And Rose too, she's dangerous too, but she's humble. And I like that, she's very quiet. You don't really know what she's going to do. And I like that unexpectedness. She's versatile.
Brittany, do you hear Coach laughing, Brittany?
Yes. Why are you laughing at me, Coach?
I'm going to tell you why, Brittany. You're good people.
I would never laugh at you. You know I would never laugh at you.
No, he's not laughing at you, Brittany. He's laughing when you brought up Rose and Joanna. The reason why is because my broadcast partner, my friend Coach, probably has not had a more satisfying victory in a long time that he's enjoyed in the MMA, men or women, than enjoying Rose beating Joanna. Now, Coach, how are you going to explain yourself? That's what I want.
So you put me on the hot seat once
I have
again.
Yeah,
I have
your
to.
turn.
You know,
There it is,
well,
Brittany. Tell him, Brittany.
Yes,
you know,
let's hear it, Coach.
thing of it is, Joanna, she tried to air out Rose's dirty laundry with her mental problems in the past. That's past tense.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
Joanna was getting in her face and doing all this stuff. But what did
Yeah,
Rose do? Rose quoted the Lord's Prayer, and the
right.
Lord's Prayer got her through. And she went in there and
Yes.
knocked out. And when she knocked out, the girl said, "I'm tapping out. I'm tapping out. I got to get
Yeah.
out this octagon. Get me out of here. No, please." And guess what? No, Joanna, there's no way you can go. You got knocked out, and you tapped out as you got
Coach,
knocked out.
Coach, you got to ask
Yes.
Brittany for me. Coach, I need you to ask Brittany for me. You just mentioned the
Okay.
tap. You go ahead and ask her, Coach. I won't do it. Ask her, Coach.
Okay, Brittany. This is
Yes.
easy. I love every second of this. Um, Joanna and J Check says she didn't tap out. She tapped out. How are you gonna explain this? And how is Joanna gonna explain this?
She said she didn't tap out.
She
She
said she
said she
didn't tap
didn't.
out. What do you think?
She might want to rewind and rewind and rewind. Not to talk smack, but she definitely tapped. Because even I was shocked. Like, I knew she got knocked out, and I was like, "Whoa, Rose." Yes, I was happy because it was like it was more than
Mhm,
just a judge's win. She knocked her
mhm,
out. There was no
mhm.
question about it. But then when she went down, I was like, "Did she tap?" I even had asked my husband. Like, we looked at each other. I'm like, "Did she tap?" And he was like, "Yeah, she tapped." And we rewound it and rewound it, and she tapped. She definitely tapped. I mean, if you can't take it, you just can't take it. That's not a diss. She had already got knocked out. That's fine. But don't deny it later on. She did tap.
Yep, I
And let's
agree. I agree.
clarify this. Let's clarify this, Brittany. And I'm doing because Brittany is so great at doing this, and I always have to do this on the show. Just like Brittany said, this is not a diss at her. This is not at all. We
No.
respect it all the time. I say this every time we talk about Joanna with other fighters because it's not a diss. And Brittany, just like you said, Coach, me, we all have a lot of respect for her fight game. We know she's a great fighter. But as they say, the truth is just the light. The truth is the light. I mean,
Yeah.
we saw the tap, and it's so she did tap. We know she tapped, and I didn't know. I guess you hadn't heard that, Brittany. Yes, Joanna is saying
No.
that she didn't tap. Her reasoning that she's given is that she said she was basically discombobulated, for the lack of a better word, like she was out of herself. And she says, "I don't know what I did. I just know what I didn't do. And one thing I didn't do is I didn't tap." And so it's kind of hard with the video footage being right there. But yes, she's saying she didn't
She
tap.
tapped.
And Coach is loving every minute of it. Coach, you ought to be ashamed of yourself, Coach.
It's not that I'm loving every minute of it. It's just give Rose Namajunas her prop, Joanna. Give her her
Yeah.
props. You know you got beat. She beat you, man. That was the easiest fight of her career when she fought you. Give the woman her props, please.
Yeah.
That's all I ask, okay? And I know the Jan Jacek fans that they're not very happy with me right now, and I can really care. I can care less.
They're
But
not,
it's the
Coach.
thing of it is, yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. And they're probably even more unhappy because I made that rap video this morning, and they're really unhappy now. But
Oh
it's
no.
okay.
Pray for him.
It's okay.
Pray for him, Brittany. Pray for him.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
So
Oh.
that's what he does.
The fact of the matter is, okay? The fact of the matter is, and here's what I'm gonna tell you, okay? She's a good fighter, but I knew, and I kept telling people this, okay? And it's not me throwing salt. I'm just saying you got to be more than one dimensional in the octagon because eventually your skill set is gonna become a weakness.
Yeah.
I've always said that your skill will become weakness against a multi-dimensional opponent that's gonna see the stuff coming. I mean, Rose, she powered up, boy. I think Rose hair turned blonde. I think Rose hair turned blue. And then I think Rose had that Super Saiyan Ultra instinct going on. I heard the music playing, the Goku music playing, and I thought she was in there fighting Jiren. Boy, Rose is a bad girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad girl.
Yeah. And what I like about Rose, here's a good thing about Rose is that, it is good. I'm not saying it's good to go through bad times, but we all go through them. But I like the fact of the victory on the end of it. Yes, I went through my mental issues. Yes. And she even told Joanna that when Joanna kept bringing it up. That is something in my past, but I am working past that now. And look at what happened. And my favorite thing Rose said is in the ring, I think it was at Rogan. He was interviewing her in a post fight, and he was trying to tell her how amazing she was, and she kept herself grounded. She said, "I'm just a normal person.
Yeah.
I'm giving God the glory for my victory, but I'm just a normal person." I thought that was great, and I think I think Rose already had a fan base, but I have just seen her fan base is just quadrupled since that
Oh
fight.
yeah.
Like, so many people have respect for what she does. Now, Brittany, Coach said something interesting I want to ask you. He said something about being multidimensional and your strength becoming your weakness because they figured out. What do you think is your main strength as a fighter? And what is something else about your game that you are looking as you grow to improve?
Far as my strength is, like you were saying, I don't focus on just striking or just ground. I don't go in automatically saying, oh, this person has to go down. I'm willing to go on the floor, stand up, anywhere, because I feel like if you're signing up for MMA, that's what it is. It says mixed martial arts. It's not just go in and display one.
Yes.
And so that's where I feel like my strength is I don't like focusing on just one area.
Nice.
As I go forward, I want to strengthen myself in not necessarily always having a game plan, but being open to whatever happens. Because I think that sometimes is a problem. I think you can have too much of a game plan and you go in there, and when that does not happen, you don't know what to do. Because you plan for that so strongly, and then you add, once you get in there, you add your nerves, you add your want to win, and it changes how you maneuver stuff. And so when your plan doesn't work out, you're kind of freaking out.
Yeah.
I can't speak for everybody, but I feel like that's kind of what can happen is you're like, oh no, I planned for this person isn't doing this, or they're completely doing something different. And that's why I learned my lesson with my kickboxing matches, to watch people's videos, but to not watch that video and think that you know who you're getting in the octagon with.
Nice.
Because you don't. They might have, who knows what they added within, between that fight and now your fight. Who knows what kind of person they're going to be when they're in there with you. They might be more, scared, or they might be less scared, than they were when they were with the other opponent. So my strength I would want to gain going forward is just being prepared for anything. Have a plan, that's fine, but be willing to do whatever I need to do if that plan doesn't play out.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
That's beautiful.
I'm glad you educated Eric, because I tried to tell him the same thing. This guy don't listen. This guy does not listen.
Come on, Coach. Come on, man. You know what? And what Brittany said, we can also see that on the highest level, because I think Joanna did that to Rose. I think she felt like she knew what she was getting, and Rose got in there and was something completely different.
Right.
And that's the one thing that Joanna admitted after the fight. That's what, well, I would say one of the things she admitted after the fight. She said that Rose surprised her.
Yeah.
She kept her off guard. She didn't give the distance, and she felt surprised. So I think if you work on it now, and that's the beauty of, getting all your kinks and stuff worked out as you work through the amateurs. That way, when you're ready to come into the major fight organizations, you have these things worked out, because a plan B and plan C, and Brittany said something that, and you guys can't let that nugget she just dropped go by. When you're looking at fighters and when you're going in and you're planning, you're staring at this tape and you're staring at this tape, they're not always that person once you get into the ring. And if you have your brain locked right there, then you don't know what else to do, because that's falling apart. Really great of you to point that out and pick that out. Go ahead, Coach. I can tell you got something. Did we lose Coach? Coach, are you there? Unmuted.
Nah.
All right. He'll hit that
Dang.
mute button.
Eric, looks like you read my mind once again, Eric. I mean, you're my completer. You're my completer.
Oh, man, whatever, dude.
So now, in the grand scheme of things, because you're working, extremely hard, and we asked somebody else the same question, and my question to you is, when you reach the pinnacle of your career, is your work ethic gonna change, or are you gonna keep the same type of what's that word? Oh, that blue collar work ethic that you have right now?
I would like to add more to what I'm doing. I would like it to be more strenuous, I would say. And I think when I get higher up, I might attract more opportunities to be trained by other people other than where I'm at. The one person who I would not want to change who's training me, Monet. Just how strategic he is and how he can take what you have and I feel like if you look at like a lot of fighters, when they get more well known and they, you know, attract a lot more people, they open themselves up to better coaches. And so I feel like as I get higher up, I'm hoping to add to how I'm training now.
It's nice. And I think that, you know, if you look, I always like to hear people when they say, as I move up, there's someone involved that I want to keep going up with, because, you know, that's the person who's really having an effect, you know, in what they
Yes.
do. And how does your, and this is an interesting question because you can ask this, and this is not just a question to a female fighter. We've asked the same kind of question to male fighters about their wives. How does your, like your husband, when you fight, how does he, is he excited about the fights? Is he kind of like cringing, like, oh, I don't want to see you get hit? What is his reaction to your fights?
He deep down has this, I'd hope you never fight.
Okay.
But if you're gonna fight, I'm gonna be in your corner 100%.
There you go.
So like when I announced to him, you know, yeah, Bonnie was, you know, telling me about a March 2nd fight. He had this like smart aleck smirk on his face, but it was like, okay, all right, you know, we'll go through this again. But there's a video that my dad actually recorded that's on YouTube that you can hear my husband, and he's like, him and my dad are the loudest two people.
Yeah.
And my husband's pretty quiet, other than like when he's around family. He's a pretty quiet, observant guy. So to hear that come out of him, that really like actually kind of touched me, to see how much he was cheering for me. You know, like he put it all out there. So I feel like deep down, if I was to tell him, yeah, I don't want to fight anymore, he'd be like, oh, okay. Yes, that's great, you know. But he supports me 100%, and he always tells me it's not that I don't think you can win, it's just I don't want to see you lose. I don't want to see you come up against the person, you know, who ground and pound you, or, you know, but I know you have the skill set to be the best.
That's
So
right.
he tells me that all the time.
That's true. And I think that's something that we always, and it's funny because that subject gets hit on a lot more with female fighters. And like, how does your dad feel? How does your husband feel? But here's the thing: if you listen, even with male fighters, if you talk to male fighters' wives, I was just watching the boxer, the great Miguel Cotto. He just retired. Speaking to his wife, and she was talking about the relief in him actually retiring. You know,
Yeah.
and so it's not just, I don't think that's a thing that just has to do with man and woman. It's just the person who loves you, and that person, because when you love someone like that, you're connected to them. So when you get hit, they get hit. You know, it's that type of thing like that. You get hit, then he feels like he got hit. So that, to me, that just shows more of how much he actually does support you and want to be in there and want to see you be the best. So I think that's a real good thing right there.
And I can agree with that because he still does jujitsu and kickboxing. And so I feel the same way. Like I feel like I'm right there in the ring with him. If he doesn't do well, or on the mats or whatever, you know, I'm right there with him, wanting him to do well. And if he doesn't do well, I'm wanting to cry for him, you know. So I definitely think it's just the feelings that's connected, whether it's a female fighter or a male fighter. If somebody loves you, they love you. And that's just how it is.
That's right. And do you guys talk about your fight game a lot at home, or do you just say, okay, when we're practicing, we have a fight, we're going to do that, but if not, we'll just be in our family, us and the kids? Or is it something you and your husband, do you strategize together? How do you guys handle that?
Yeah, I mean, we start off as best friends, so we talk about everything. So when we have a fight coming up, I'm always going over with him, even with, you know, what my coaches have told me. Well, this is what they're telling me. What do you think about this? You know?
Beautiful.
So yeah, we definitely talk about it. And I mean, we want our kids to get into it. Not necessarily they don't have to, you know, compete, but just even for self-defense. But our oldest daughter, we have two right now. She's gonna be 4 in April. She loves it. Like when we're getting ready to go to the gym, are you gonna go fight? I want to go, you know. So she likes it, you know. So I'm hoping, and I don't want to force it on her. I'm not gonna be one of those parents because I did it, you have to like it.
Yeah.
But if I feel like if I can introduce it to her like my dad did, he didn't force it on me. It was just me being around it made me want to do it. That's what we're doing with them, and just hoping that it, you know, something clicks, whether they just want to practice it or if they want to compete. You know, I'm here to support them.
That is right. And we have another one. See, Tay Brown just popped up. I want to tell you this, War Machine Brittany. Tay just said, God bless her, gave you the big hearts with the queen crown. So you got love out here. The people are loving hearing about you, and so this is going
Thank
really
you,
well.
Tay Tay.
That's right. Shout out to Tay Tay. Shout out to Tay Tay.
Tay Brown. Tay Brown.
Yeah, so that's really
You can
good,
rap.
and I think your story touches a lot of people. Go ahead, Coach. I'm sorry I cut you off. What'd you have?
No, you didn't. I was being a clown. I should have consulted you before I started clowning.
See how he is, Brittany? Do you hear? You see how he is? This is what I deal with. This is what I deal with right here, Brittany. You see what I deal with.
I'm gonna send him one of those red noses that he can put on.
That's right. You need to send it out to him. You need to send it out to him. That's how it is.
So you trying to call me a reindeer? I mean, what are you trying to call me?
Oh my God,
No, you know, Ronald McDonald. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
the clown, Coach.
Oh,
You said
Ronald McDonald.
reindeer.
Oh God, no! You trying to send me to McPoison? Yeah, well, eat that crap.
Well, you know, like Bozo the clown, run out had a red nose. I guess it is Christmas time, so that's why he said reindeer. But
So,
anyway.
so a red nose. You gonna give me a silly suit and some of them little those helicopter shoes that they wear? Yeah.
You gotta have the shoes. You gotta have the shoes.
Gotcha. Hey, hey, Eric.
Yes,
Here's something I kind of wanted to do, and I'm gonna see. Cause I know we winding down here. I actually wanted to ask Brittany some questions, but I wanted to ask her some questions in the form of Skip Bayless.
Oh,
I wanted to ask Brittany some questions in the form of Skip Bayless.
Brittany,
You know who Skip Bayless is, don't you, Brittany?
I don't believe so.
Yeah,
Oh,
it won't work if you don't, because he's a popular VJ. He used to do First Take with Stephen A. Smith. So if the hard thing about it, Coach, is if you ask her a question, she wouldn't understand the Skip Bayless comparison right there. But you can go ahead and do it, and she'll still answer the question, I'm sure.
Oh, great. I'm nervous now, but let's try it.
See, okay. Brittany, that's the nerve thing. We're working with you, Brittany. We're working the nerves out. We did this on purpose, Brittany.
Yeah.
See, Brittany, I'm trying to prepare you for when you get on ESPN or when you get on Undisputed. See, you know, I'm getting you ready for this right now.
Mm-hmm. Yes. You know what I said? Like, I'm nervous, but let's do it, though. See?
That's what we like. That's what we like. That's right.
That's right. Okay. Well, here we go. Brittany, Skip Bayless. I'm going to ask you a question.
Oh my God.
Listen, I want to ask you. You got to tell me the truth.
All right.
I want to ask you about the knockout.
What knockout?
Brittany?
Yeah.
Brittany, I took my time with you. Asked you a serious question, and I feel like you're laughing at me. You know, I want to talk about the knockout.
But I have to know what knockout, though.
It's the knockout. You know the knockout that happens when you punch somebody in the face and or you head kick somebody in the face.
Okay. So not specifically a knockout, but knockout. Okay.
What about the knockout in your next fight that you're going to give to your opponent?
Hopefully I can give a question mark head kick.
Oh, okay. Question mark head kick.
Well, I'm Skip Bayless, and I don't know much about MMA, but I'm going to tell you this, okay? Do you know how to do an exclamation point head kick?
You know, I don't even know if that is a kick, but I'm going to invent it just for you.
There you go, Brittany. You know what, Coach? That's it. We're going to stop it right there with that. Because she did it. She did her thing.
She answered that first.
And I'm going to look him up after this interview, too.
Oh, my God.
I got to know who this is.
I bet you $100. I bet you $100 your husband know who that is. As a matter of fact, I know he would know.
Oh,
my dad, too. I'm going to ask.
Yeah, ask her. But you handled it. See, Brittany's already ready for ESPN. She's ready right now. She had to go with the thing. So when you go in, Brittany, because we're talking about this, and as we won't hold you too much longer here, but we do appreciate your time. We always want to say that. But as you go in and you look at these fights, I heard you say that you're not necessarily looking for a knockout. Now, as a fighter, I just have to ask you, do you sometimes picture the knockout, though? Do you picture yourself stretching her with that kick, or like have you at least played it in your brain, like not just this fight coming up, but whenever you get ready for a fight, do you at least visualize a knockout once or twice?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I visualize a knockout. I visualize a submission. I visualize it going all the way. I try not to stick on one thing because, again, it goes into that whole planning thing. If it
That's right.
doesn't come, I feel like you can start to defeat yourself. Like, man, I hit her, you know, right where you're supposed to, but she didn't go down. And then at that
That's
point,
right.
it's like, oh, am I not strong? And then I'm starting to question too many things. But I definitely play it in a way that it's like I can do it, but I don't stick to specifically one thing. But yeah, I do play it in my head.
That is great. Now, Coach, do you like that in fighters? Do you like, you know, because we noticed Brittany's mentioned here a few times. Do you
Mm.
like when a fighter says, I'm going in with an open game, with an open, like my playbook is not going to be so just dial into one possible scenario playing out here? Do you like to see a
Yeah,
fighter who goes in with multiple ideas?
I do because you know, if you go in looking for a knockout, see, knockouts just don't happen. You know, you actually have to help a person knock you out, or you know, that person helps you
There it is.
because you get knocked out based on the mistakes that you make in the octagon. So if you're always looking for a knockout, that means you're going to be overextending yourself. And a good counterpuncher, they're going to pick up on that, and they're going to counter you to death all night long. So you have to set knockouts up. So if you're just looking for the one punch knockout, you'll probably be the one getting slept in one punch. That's probably what's going to happen, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can appreciate because you know she's got a lot of, you know, she's got ring intelligence, and I think the last like couple of people we've been talking to a lot of fighters with ring intelligence,
That's right.
octagon IQ, and I call it octagon IQ, where you know you're pretty much aware of what you're doing in octagon at all times. You know, like you got a game plan for when you're against the cage. You got a game plan for when you're in the middle of the octagon. You got a game plan for, you know, let's say if the person puts you in a guillotine. Yeah, I mean, you have a game plan if, you know, you're on the mat. You know, you have a game plan for everything. So, and you're aware. And some of your high level strikers, they do this, you know. And and I've seen you take, you know, in your last fight, I just saw you take a I'm not gonna be defeated type attitude with this. You know, you overcame the nervousness, and I couldn't tell because you went in and you got this flight or flight response that you just know how to turn it on, you know, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
I would hate, you know, for somebody to like irritate you in public or actually try to attack you in public, because I'm telling you that that person, that flight or flight response with you will cut on, and you probably might not even realize, you know, you fighting a non-fighter, you may actually hurt someone if they would actually attack you on the street. I'm being honest, you know, like you could. The instinct in there is in you. Like you've got a mean streak. Like, and it comes out. It comes out immediately as soon as that referee or they say fight, that mean streak, it comes on you immediately. So I'm like, wow, man, this is good. Because you know how to handle yourself, you know, and then too, you're very defensively responsible. You know, like you're not leaving your chin exposed for long periods of time, you know, where, you know, somebody can just get a shot in, you know. And you're not like you're doing a lot of things right. You're not diving in, you know, with your head and chin exposed. I mean, you know, somebody they've been teaching you, you know, because I've seen fighters go in with their chin exposed and they keep doing it and then they get knocked out. And I'm talking about like it be the knockout of the century because they be asleep. I mean, I'm saying they're asleep. But you know, when I look at a knockout, I always break the film down and I always say, you know what causes knockout? See, I'm a film study guy. I make film studies, I do them, and I'm like, oh, okay. So this person kept trying to feint, you know, and the person picked up on the feint. Oh, they got knocked out because of this, you know. But you do your feints and spots, and you don't overdo any one thing. So that's what I see, you know, when you're actually, you know, really going in there. But you know, then too, it depends. You fought a bigger opponent and you handled it. So I'm just itching to see what you're gonna do with somebody your own size. I think you might get a knockout. Like I'm talking about like a sleeping knockout.
Well, I definitely want to because there's one specific person at my school that I want to prove to that people my size can get knockouts because there was a coach at my school. I'm not gonna name names, but he specifically told me that people my size don't have knockout power, and I just looked at him and said, "Okay," you know, like nodded with the all right. But yeah, so he's one that once I do get one, he's gonna be the first person I'm gonna be like, oh, we don't have knockout power. Let's watch this video.
There you go. And Brittany, what you do is after that knockout, you ask him, do you have some smelling sauce to land my opponent because she sleep. That's what happened there. So can you provide the smelling sauce because she's asleep. So you were wrong about that. That's what I'm trying to say. And coach, I'm gonna say this, and Brittany, I want you to hear this too. You know who Brittany's mean streak actually reminds me of? Because I can see the mean streak too, because we just been around and talked to enough fighters to know and watching her tape. Her mean streak is actually similar to Rose Namajunas' mean streak, where she's very humble, they're smiling, has a lot of stuff that, but there's this thing that happens to where she can just turn it on. And I think, to me, if I was a fighter, that would be the worst type of fighter for me to deal with. I would rather deal with somebody who's talking a lot of trash, being all emotional, because they're showing their hand, they're showing you their card. They're like very much so like Joanna showed her card against Rose. But when you just have a person who's gonna smile and just look at you, kind of like Andre Ward in boxing did, Sergey Kovalev, just gonna look at you, gonna stare you right in the eye, and you're supposed to be this mean person. People like that scare people. And I'm telling you, Brittany's the type that she'll be smiling 1 minute, but if somebody makes her mad, I guarantee they'll be like, whoa, 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 wait a minute, now where'd this come from? Where'd this come from? I don't know, I'm not ready for this. So that mean streak is actually, I think you have the best type of mean streak, because those are the ones that you don't know what's getting ready to happen to you right now. Are you going to sleep? Is your leg going to be broken? Something bad is getting ready to happen. So that's what's going to happen. So, Coach, how did you spot that mean streak, Coach? Because, you know, Brittany smiles and shit. Did you have to see it in her fights, or was it something when you interviewed her? How did you spot that mean streak in Brittany?
It's a combination of both. It's a good mean streak though. It's a mean streak where you're not, no, this is not finna happen. You're not finna bully me. I'm finna get it done. That kind of mean streak. And if you keep approaching me, I'm finna show you, you know, why they call me the War Machine. You know, it's that kind of mean streak. But you begin to it's like your opponent, and I think it's a good strategy because you have your opponents off guard because they're thinking one thing, but you're thinking something totally different. And so when they finally get hit with an onslaught, it catch them off guard because they don't think that somebody your size can hit that hard. Like I've been watching fights long enough to know when somebody's actually shocked, because you know Jessica got hit with your first right hand and she kind of had to look like, okay, oh crap, she can punch. Like what? Okay, this is gonna be a fight. Even in a fight where you were just dog tired, you know, you were fighting in your Muay Thai matchup or it was a kickboxing match, you you know, you came in and you threw your punches and you were throwing like these wicked combinations, and this person was like, okay, wait a minute, where's this coming from? And you can tell that your opponents, you know, the more that you go, the more frustrated that they become, and you're very frustrating to fight because one, you're always moving, two, you're fast. So it's like, okay, you're doing all this stuff. It's frustrating dealing with somebody faster than you. While you trying to take a breather, they still throwing punches. While you trying to be defensive and catch a breather, they still throwing punches, you know? Yeah. And then, you know, you're looking at them in the corner. They get all this energy, and you like, oh, why are they getting all this energy? I mean, that's you. That's you. But oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brittany.
I was going to say, well, I'm definitely trying to work on my cardio getting even better. So.
Yeah, you just got to ration it out. That's all. You just got to ration it out. And as you grow and get more experience, you'll know how to pick your spots. And then you'll know when and where. It's going to come with experience. And that's part of the inexperience. But it's not like you're not going in because you're trying to finish the fight. And more power to you. You finish that fight early, God bless you. Nobody's going to complain. Guess what? Yeah. You finished the fight early. Hey, go on and get them out of there. Let's get the next one in here.
Right. And I just saw a comment right here because I want Brittany to see what the listeners are saying about it. We had one from Sabrina right here. I want to read this to you, Brittany. Sabrina said, Brittany seems like such a humble fighter and has a really great persona. My type of fighter. That's what Sabrina's saying about you, Brittany. Like I said, they're loving what you got going out here.
Thank you, Sabrina. Thank you.
That's right. Shout out to Sabrina. Awesome. Shout out to Sabrina. We definitely want to show you that because, like I said, this is what it's all about. As you come up, you're connecting with people. People are learning more about your story, what makes you click, and people get inspired. We all get inspired by people we can look at and say, man, I really like that. And I'm Brittany, I think that's what you bring to the game. You have that humble, you know, your faith. You have that family thing going to where we need more people like this in the sport also, because a lot of times in the sport, the bigger the bad guy you are, the more foul you talk, you get celebrated more. You really get, and I understand that there has to be a healthy amount of bad guys in the game. I'm not hating on that at all. There's no hating here, but I do think we need to work on our good guys too. We don't have enough, you know, good. When I say guys, I mean men and women, of course, but we don't have enough good characters out there, because all we have is everybody wants to be the bad guy. Let me be the bad guy.
Right.
So I think it's great, and props to you that you're willing to take a stand and say, hey, I want to be here. I want to have some respect. I want to come out here and be an example for people. So props to you for that. We need more like you in the game.
Thank you.
No
Well,
problem.
now I guess we need to get to this question. Now I want to hear this question, and I think I know what you're going. I think I know how you're gonna respond, Brittany. I'm pretty sure I know. But Cyborg versus Home.
Oh,
We'll end it with this. This is the last question. We'll talk about this one. Come on, Brittany.
We're ending with this, and then I want to exit out with an intro video with hers.
Yeah, for sure.
so how do I feel about it? Is that what you're asking?
Who you think? No. See, no. Let me give you a two-step question. Let's make it.
Oh boy. Okay.
Who you think gonna win, and how do you think they gonna win? Three part. And what strategy do you think they gonna use to get it done?
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know who will win because I feel like they both have each other's number in different areas.
Okay.
Who I want to win, obviously, is Holly.
Tell us.
So to explain that deeper, I feel like Cyborg can be aggressive, and she knows that she's strong, so she comes in with that kind of, I don't want to say overconfidence, where I feel like Holly, her countering is so on point that's just going to feed into her what she wants her to do. It's like, yeah, come at me so I can counter you with something and hopefully get a head kick on you and knock you out. But her countering is so good that I think if she's too aggressive and too confident, it's going to feed into Holly. But I also think, I don't know if Holly has really dealt with anyone as strong as Cyborg. So that's where I question on Holly's point. What is she going to do to make sure that she's strong enough to deal with her? That's my only question. Other than that, I feel like Holly is more well-rounded on her feet to deal with Cyborg. And I hope that she's improved on her jiu-jitsu, because she should not have lost against Miesha Tate. Anyway,
I agree.
So I think I kind of answered all that, but I think where Chris's Cyborg is going to try is probably try not to be as aggressive and not feed into her countering and make Holly come after her, which we've kind of seen when Holly's forced to be the aggressor, she doesn't do as well. So hopefully she's improved on that too. I'm going for Holly, so I'm hoping that everything that she needs to do, she gets done, but I'm really hoping that Cyborg comes in a little bit hot and that she knocks her out.
Well, Brittany, Coach, let me say this before you start, because I need to warn Brittany. I need to warn our fan Brittany. Brittany, what I'm going to ask you to do now before Coach starts is buckle your seatbelt. Because when you pick Holly in this fight, I'm telling you, Brittany, buckle your seatbelt. Because he's still getting on to me to this day. So, Coach, go ahead. Let us know.
Holly hater, I know.
I'm not a Holly hater. I got 24 videos in defense of Holly Holm.
Okay.
I got 24. But Eric,
Coach, go ahead.
So Eric, so now you're trying to be on the Holly bandwagon now here. Okay. And just before, you done jumped off the bandwagon. Now you back on, Eric. Come on, man. Come on.
Man. I'm back on the bandwagon.
Hey, wait, Brittany, what's that scripture? God say, don't be a man can't serve two gods. I can't remember.
Yeah, you have two masters.
Yeah. Or
no,
you can't
I
be
know
like
the scripture. I know the scripture. I know the scripture. No man can serve two masters.
or you can't be like a double-edged sword or something like that. I can't remember, but Eric, yeah, man. And Brittany, I think he doing that because you're a Holly Holm fan. I think that's why he doing it. Because last time we talked, he was kind of in between. Well, I think Holly gonna win, but
I'm still in between.
It's all sports and laughs. See, that's what he said.
I'm still in between. I just say, hey, I like when people, because this fight is so pro, and I understand Cyborg, she's the favorite for a reason. I think Brittany would even say that. She's the favorite for a reason. Everybody knows what Cyborg is. But it's great. It's great to see a little love for Holly on the other side, too, so we can balance this thing out. So that's all I'm saying. But go ahead, Coach. I know you got something to say. Go break it down, too.
Okay, so let's talk about that Miesha Tate fight, Eric.
Oh, man.
Eric, let's talk about that fight. Let's talk about what Miesha Tate did in the fight to cause the reaction. Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, Miesha Tate, she did Okay, I take all the top strikers, right, or the top competition that's been in front of Holly Holm. They've all made it difficult. Now, there's a reason. Okay, we'll take Valentina Shevchenko first, then we'll get to Misha Tate. Shevchenko realized that cutting off the octagon doesn't work against Holly Holm because her foot movement is too good.
Right.
So what Valentina did, she chose to stand right in her own position and rotate about the axis of her body, and she kept Holly Holm in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
That made Holly Holm come forward.
Right.
See, that's what a high level striker she do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let me just stand in spot and let me let Holly come to me. And that's what happened. And everything Valentina set up from that point on, it came from her being standstill. Now, when she fought
Mm-hmm.
Jermaine Durandame definitely is much slower than Holly Holm. But Jermaine's Muay Thai background in kickboxing, she was able to successfully cut the octagon off against Holly Holm. So what she was doing was she kept trapping Holly in corners of the octagon. And so instead of giving Holly the complete center of the octagon, Holly was dealing with like a corner. So she had to actually force her way. She had to fight. She had to actually throw blitzes to get herself back to the middle of the octagon. So I was noticing that. So wait a minute, these high level strikers are doing this, but then you get Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey was food, and Holly picked up immediately that Ronda did not know what in the crap she was doing
Yeah.
No.
when she was trying to stand up because Ronda was bouncing in front of Holly. So it was a counterpunch city. So Holly Holm had open season.
Right.
But you get to Misha Tate. Misha Tate was being very defensively responsible. Even though
Well,
Misha don't have the stand up to deal with Holly Holm like that, but see, she was being very defensively responsible. Characteristic, they're patient. Like they don't go in and make a mistake. So they didn't do it. Jermaine didn't make the mistake. Misha Tate was very patient. Valentina was extra patient. So I think there's a common theme. But then you get like Betch Kohea, who is not focused at all, and she got knocked out
yeah.
Right.
because she was being defensively irresponsible. Now we get the Cyborg, who she's got a combination of both. The
Right.
possibility of her getting caught with a head kick is there, but then I think she learned a whole lot from her fight with Jarena Jojo Bars. I think she learned a lot from that fight. And I think that what Holly's going to present, I think Chris has seen it. And I think Chris is going to be prepared for that style of fighting. I think she is. Because when you look at her, she fought Gina Carano. Carano possessed some of those same skill sets. She was the first, American World Muay Thai champion. So, she can
Yeah.
stand.
Mm-hmm.
And, with the ground game, I don't think Holly's going to provide an opposition for that because she'd be crazy to try to do that. But, Holly is going to have to make Cyborg respect her, meaning that she got to make Cyborg pay.
Right.
Keep away. That's not going to work. Chris is going to she's going to make the octagon small as she can. And then she's going to just start doing what she wants. Holly going to have to throw down. It's going to have to be that kind of fight where she makes Cyborg respect her power. Like she got to.
Coach,
Because she try to play keep away, cat and mouse, it's not gonna work. She got to do it, and I think she'll last longer and probably even possibly have a chance to win if she get in there. Look, okay, let me bite my mouthpiece. Let me show her what I got. Let me just show Cyborg. Forget this. I'm throwing with her.
Man.
Kicks and all.
Well, Coach, let me tell you before you say this, I need you to tell Brittany your final pick. He's already shared with us his pick. You might not know his final pick. Coach, how is it gonna end, and what round is it gonna end in?
Between rounds 3 and 4, and it'll be a TKO stoppage. That's just my opinion, just based on Holly. She's 36. It's not the same one that fought Ronda, and she's not young like that. That father time catch up, man. And in our fight against Betch Kohea, I was kind of like, okay, like why is she being so patient? But I felt like she really wanted to pull the trigger. She could have got her. And I don't know what she was waiting on because Betch Kohea is not on her level, nowhere near her level. Like, and I was kind of really, if I was in the corner, I'd have been like, Holly, get her out of here. She can't fight with you. Look, you got to go.
Yeah.
You got to go. Guard your chin. And look, girl, she's going to stand. Betch is going to stand in front of you. Just do it. Let's go. See, I wish I could have told her. But it's like she got to believe that she can do it. And I just thought she struggled too much with Betch Kohea, who, she's a decent fighter, but she's not on Holly level. No way.
Mm-mm.
Holly could be 60 years old and still be Betch Kohea. Okay.
Coach, I'm gonna say this about this one because every time we have fighters in Brittany and we get to this stuff, when we start talking about the Holly home sideboard thing, it's always the fighter is on one side of the fence with one of us, and the other person is on the other. So, Coach, Brittany and I are on the same side with this one, and you're over there. I'm sorry, Coach, if that's true. It's just reality right now. We're over here on one side, and we're saying that Holly does have a chance, and we think that the fight is kind of close. You, on the other hand, think it's gonna end third or fourth round knockout, and I won't be at all surprised, Coach, if you're right. So don't. I know you're gonna give it to me if you're right.
He's gonna watch. I'm a videotape him. He ain't gonna know it. I'm a videotape him, and then I'm gonna send it to him. This guy's name is Benedict Arnold. I'm gonna call him Benedict Harris.
Oh my God! Come on, man. Come on, man. I've been consistent. I've been consistent saying it the whole time. But no, as Coach pulls it up, Coach, are you gonna pull up Brittany? I know we're gonna end with her with her video, but are you gonna pull up her? Do you have her social media that you can put up for everyone?
Let me pull up her social media first. Let's get that in there.
And as he's pulling that up, Brittany, can you go ahead and shout out to the fans and just say it as Coach pulls it up? Let them know where they can come and follow you and like your stuff on social media.
Yes, first I just want to thank you guys for having me. It's been very fun, and I hope you guys have me again.
Oh yeah.
And thank you for the fans who may have already been following me or going to follow me. You can find me I'm mainly on Instagram. It's War Machine 0719, or you can find me at Facebook, Brittany Nieman, and my last name is Nieman. But I would mainly follow me on Instagram.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up Instagram.
Brittany, Coach, did you hear what Brittany just said? She said, Coach, I don't know if you heard it because you pull up. She asked us she hopes we have her again. Brittany, don't you talk like that, Brittany. Don't you say anything like that again. We are asking you, will you come back again? That's what it's about.
Because for sure.
That's what we want to hear. We got it, Brittany. One thing Coach and I do is if you say you're coming back, we don't mind sending this tape to your managers. We don't mind sending this tape to people. She promised us she's coming back. So we are expecting nothing but to see you again. And when you get that fight announcement that we know you're going to get, when you get a name, let's come back and let's definitely talk about that again too.
I definitely will. I thank God for this opportunity because I know that's the only reason my coach found me is God opened that door. So thank you.
Great. That is great. And Coach is a good guy. And all that stuff Coach says, he's a sweetheart, Brent. Don't listen to all that tough talk he's doing right now. He's just doing that.
Well, my dad's from North Carolina, so I know how to deal with the Carolinians. So.
Okay, you gotta know fact. That's why you deal with him so well. That's why you deal with him so well, right there.
And he asked me how was I gonna explain this. Okay. All right. Can you guys see the screen?
I can.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna play it. Let's hear it. This our intro video. Oh God, no sound. Well, let's fix that.
Gotta fix that.
I blame E-Maze and Eric for that one.
You can blame me on it. And let me say this as you fix the sound. Let me say this because Coach is gonna try to turn me around. I'm so glad. I never said this. Going back to the Misha Tate fight really quick as Coach gets this together. Misha Tate, no, Coach, because you try to trap me up. I got Brittany here, and Brittany's got my back, so I gotta get myself clear, Brittany. You know how he is, Brittany. You already know how he is.
Yeah.
So I never said that Misha Tate didn't fight a good fight, Coach. She fought a real good fight, and you are right. She was responsible. And I actually want to say that Brittany, you say a lot of the same things that I would say is a strength in Misha Tate. As Coach said, a high octagon IQ. You were talking about it. That's what we like about that. If you guys are just tuning in, we got Brittany Nieman here, the War Machine, great up-and-coming fighter. We're going to be doing big things soon. And one thing I want you to keep working on, Brittany, as you go, is keep working on that IQ like you are. And I think it is so imperative to have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. The great fighters in combat sports, boxing or mixed martial arts can win fights in multiple ways. That's a real good thing to do.
Absolutely. Boy, that was beautiful, Eric.
That's right. You like that, Coach? You like that, Coach? You like that? Come on.
It almost seemed like I was in church. Good job. I love it.
Well, y'all got that church vibe going right now. I want to tune up or something. Come on, man.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, man. I'm waiting on you to start dancing.
You know it's coming. You already know it's coming.
Okay, guys, here it is. Let's get at it. Okay, all right. There we go. I'm sitting here talking. I'm like, what the heck going on?
I didn't know what happened, Coach. Are we all still live here?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. I thought Coach got so excited when he watched the thing, he just ended up knocking the whole microphone set down. I got so excited, Brittany. I was standing up getting my shadow box on, Brittany. I'm just letting you know what I was doing. I was getting my. That's what I was doing. That's what was happening from
Oh
my
my
end. My shadow box was coming on. But
and,
no,
and
again,
Brittany, the great blood boxing.
I
This
was
man is
just gonna say this.
legendary. Oh, go ahead, Eric. It'll come better from you. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say this because Brittany, you know, we got a brother right here named Blood Boxing in the comment section that just said great stuff. She's a bad woman. Blood boxing for me, I call blood boxing my Roy Jones. What I mean by that is Roy Jones was the first time I actually really, my dad had fight tapes and I saw Roy Jones. He was a great blood boxer, but Roy Jones like made me really, really like boxing. The whole YouTube boxing game for me started. The first person I ever saw back in like 2008 was blood boxing. So this is a heavy guy in this game, Brittany. He gave you props. And if blood
wow.
boxing gives you props, it means something. Props to you, blood. Salute to you, bro.
Thank you, thank you.
He said you a bad woman.
Yeah, yeah.
That means a lot.
Yeah,
And
he don't
guys,
just say it. So.
do me a favor. Go subscribe to Blood Boxing Returns. Go subscribe.
Absolutely.
Definitely go. Keith Brown. You know he was in here showing us a lot of love. Just Sabrina been in here, guys. I want to thank y'all, Aladdin. I mean, you know, all of you guys been in here showing so much love and support. And you know, the rest of y'all, let's get on up in here. You know, let's get on up here. And maybe next time, Brittany, we talk to you. Maybe we'll do it like at, you know, maybe at 6 or 7 your time, because I think everybody get off work and we ready to go. Because it's been a crazy day for us, and you got training you got to go to. So, but we'll pick a day when your training is a little bit, you know, we can do it outside of your training, or you have a break from that day of training, and
Yeah,
then
no, that's fine. Usually Fridays, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I usually go, or Thursday nights, I normally have class at Bethel University, but I'm on break right now. So, but yeah, we'll figure out a day, and I'm definitely open.
okay, definitely. And next time, Brittany, we can talk some fight talks, predictions. You know, let's see how your predictions match up against me and Amazing Eric.
Come
We can
on.
do like a whole stream of them. Eric will probably get his incorrect, and I will, you know,
You see, there
get
he is
mine
again.
correct.
I'm gonna tell you,
That's
What?
all right.
Ollie Home wins. I'm
No,
gonna take a selfie with her with the belt behind me, and I'm gonna send
Come
it
on.
to Coach.
Come on, Brittany. I like that. Come on, Brittany.
oh God, I'm the villain now. I'm the villain. I am the villain of this podcast. What happened? Oh no.
You did it. We're gonna start. Hey, Brittany, we're gonna call Coach Joanna. That's your
Yeah.
No, no, don't call me Joanna, because I am not the queen anymore. I'm not the queen.
You gotta do the boogie. Boogie woman is coming for you, girls. You gotta do the boogie woman call.
Oh,
Anyway, no, great podcast, Brittany. It was a pleasure to interview you, Brittany. Can't wait to have another one. Everybody here in the comment section, from our newer people coming in to our legends like Blood Boxing, came through and showed you love. And if you guys are listening to this later, if you listen to this in the next few days, if you listen to this next week, go to those channels, click like button, follow Brittany, up and coming. You will see her soon. I just had to get that in. Okay, go ahead, Coach.
yes, yes, lovely lady, great husband,
That's
great
right.
mom. You know, she's all three. Thank you guys for keeping it respectful, because you know how we like to do it here. We like to be respectful.
Absolutely.
Hey, it is what it is. You know, we got to support each other. You know, and we got to just do what we got to do. You know, and that's good. I'm glad we're doing this, because she's up and coming, and I really prefer to interview up and coming fighters. You know, I don't really prefer to interview the bravado fighters. I want to interview fighters. Brittany, I want to this who I want to interview, because in 2 years from now we're gonna have this conversation. Dang, Brittany, what you finna do in your title shot?
That's
Look,
right.
you got a title, you got your title shot. You're fighting for the belt, Brittany. What can we expect, Brittany? Who you got to call out next? See, now we can ask you then when you're ready to fight for the title.
Mhm. That's right.
What are you saying, when I'm in the UFC, you're not gonna interview me? I'm gonna be too good? What?
Nah, that's quite the contrary. We're gonna stick it out. We're gonna stick it out with you. We want to interview you every
All right.
chance I get.
We won't let you do that, Brittany. We'll be showing up at your fights in the UFC. Brittany, and I'll be talking all loud. Brittany,
I'ma
do
get
you
you
remember me?
I'm gonna
Get
give
some
you guys
tickets.
tickets front
That's
row.
right. That's right. I can't wait.
Okay, guys. Well, that's it. That's it for this broadcast. Tune in again. Me and the wonderful, the great, me and the amazing Eric, the best moderator on YouTube.
Come on.
We will be back live next week. And guys, any of you watching this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. channels, and if you have multiple people, he can actually moderate the chat the way it's supposed to go. Please give the guy a call. Okay, with that, guys, signing off. This is I don't know, say something like this is Brittany Nieman, and you're watching Eric, Amazing Eric, and Coach Shelton Harrison live. Something like that. Yeah.
Give it to us, Brittany.
So this is the War Machine, Brittany Nieman, and you're watching Coach Harrison and Amazing Eric.
Yeah.
Ow!
All right. Peace, fam.
Peace, y'all.